You're at EduMatch. EduMatch. Don't miss EduMatch. Don't miss EduMatch. You're at EduMatch. EduMatch. Don't miss EduMatch.
Hey, what is up, my EduMatch fam? I'm super excited to chat today because we have a very special guest in the house, but we're going to get to that in just a moment. Before we start, then just FYI, you might hear baby girl in the background. It is a family show, uh, but just letting you know. So thank you to the EduMatch community for joining us. You can find us at www.edumatch.org, and also be sure to like, subscribe, join our community. If you have friends that want to find a good PLN, then just invite them to us in all of our respective social media spaces. So without any further ado, I am super excited and over the moon to just introduce one of my favorite people. We used to work together way back in the day. And oh my gosh, I'm just so proud of you, Erin. So
Oh,
welcome,
thank you so much.
Erin Roxborough. Yes, indeed. Super
Hey,
excited
Sarah.
to have you here. Yes.
I am so glad that you have decided to have me. And when you mentioned it, I thought, are you kidding me? This will be just like old days where we were talking, and then a
Yes.
bell would ring and then I'd have to go. So,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yes.
we used to work together back in the day to anybody who's tuning in. So back in like 2007, 2008, around that time, we were together at the same school, and we stayed in touch, and I'm just so proud of her. She's been a member of the EduMatch community for a while, and she has released her very first book, Through My Eyes, Tragedy to Triumph. So for everybody out there who's watching and listening, Erin, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Oh, absolutely. I was a former teacher, educator, went into the school system in 1998, I believe, and I taught for several years in the DMV. I went to Syracuse University, and most people know me as Miss Rock, so they call me Miss E. I have a child care now because I've since then left the school system in 2018 and opened my own child care. But, I got to a point in my life I thought to myself, I need to write. I need to write something. And most of us have a story inside of us anyway, right? And we just say we're going to do it and we
Totally.
just put it off and put it off. But I needed to. And so I think, so just to tell you a little bit about me, I'm an educator and you know me, but I don't
Yes.
necessarily consider myself, like just knowing all, right? Learning is lifelong. So, I'm here to share and I can tell you more about why I wrote the book, but I had no choice. That's my
Yes, I feel you on that. I love what you said that we all have a story to share, and I'm so glad that you're telling yours. So, continuing along that line, then what inspired you to write your memoir?
Well, I had to make a decision about therapy, and a decision. I had not been going to therapy regularly, and I knew I was a person that needed it. And honestly, I hid behind my career, which many professionals do. Folks, some of us that suffer from high functioning depression and anxiety and all these things. Sometimes I was hiding behind my career, thinking, oh, I'm a teacher. Oh, I earned my master's. Oh, this and that. And I said, wait a minute, I'm dealing with a lot of trauma in my life, personal challenges. So I have selected experiences in my life that I had to write about. I mean, I had to. I've been writing my whole life, but I just keep these diaries and these journals and just carry them with me in bags, you know. So, but the main reason why I had to write was to validate myself because sometimes the people who were supposed to love us just choose not to. So I said, well, I've got to heal. I have to take responsibility for my healing, which we all have to do in life. And there was nothing for me to be ashamed of after a while. I would always worry about what people thought. And it's like, wait a minute, why am I worried about what people think? I have to stop hiding behind my career and just be myself. So that's the main reason is that I had to validate myself. Secondly, I always teach my daughters, if there's something you want to do with your life, you better do it. You do what you whatever your mind tells you to do, you can do it. And how am I going to emulate that if I don't take my own advice? So that's another reason why I wanted to write, and primarily to help women who are in a stuck place. And I can talk more about that stuckness in a minute. What is stuckness?
Oh yeah, I can't wait to hear more about this stuckness.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to learn more about that from you. So and I appreciate you sharing those reasons. Like those are powerful. And the one that stuck out to me the most is when you talked about your daughters, as a new mom, then us being role models for our daughters. That's just so important and so powerful. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So hopefully you'll get into some of the stuckness here, but also anything else you want to share about what you hope readers will take away from your personal narrative.
Well, the first thing I want to say is I wrote selected parts of my life. I certainly don't see it as a self help guide on how to do such and such. It's a very quick read. It's a conversational piece, more of a discussion that I'm holding with a girlfriend or a friend of mine, right? To share some of the things I've gone through. And it's a sharing where you can look at your own personal experiences and say, wait a minute, we really need to move from these stuck places. And the stuckness I mean is we can be stuck in a job where it's only paying the bills. We hate the job, can't stand it, or just tired and can't move forward. What about stuck in a relationship? What about stuck in a marriage? If you're stuck, there is a way out. There's always a way out. And we got to work on our perspective on how to get out, I guess, is really the big thing. So, the thing I would want people to walk away with is understanding that humor is probably the best medicine. It's cheaper too, right? I mean, if we could get to the point where we can laugh at ourselves, and if you can laugh at yourself, honey, you can get through anything in life. I mean, and that's what we have to do at some point. We also have to we have to do that, because if we don't, we're going to choose bitterness, and we can't be bitter the rest of your life worrying about things that people have done to us. I mean, we just don't want to do that. So it's really just to empower the reader, and as I do that, I empower myself,
I love that. I absolutely love that. So many great nuggets there to take away. And I love what you were saying about the humor and just all of it really. But yes, this is a very, very valuable read for folks to definitely reflect upon their own experience as well as their reading. So that is awesome. Just wanted to give a huge shout out to Melody, who is tuning in right now. So she gives the hearts, and she also says, laughter is my favorite with the people who love me and I love. I'll check this
Absolutely.
out. So that is awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, Melody. All right. And Erin, got another question for you.
Absolutely.
So we go way back. Like I said,
We
like
sure do.
2008. 2008. Like, so we worked together a lot. And I remember, like you said, we used to sit there and we used to just chat like just all day, like in the computer lab. Yeah, it was great times. But can you recall a memory of our time working together? And this is going to kind of speak to a theme of yours about being open and building relationships. So yeah, do you have anything that you want to share about our time working together?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Sarah. There were so many times that, I mean, I was in my car crying in arguments with my then husband. I mean, my personal life was in shambles, and I would come in and we probably talk about all kinds of other things, but I remember you just always being bubbly and just always being a comfort to me at that time. And, this was the time in my life where I had a wonderful supervisor, because I was working as a pupil personnel worker. And pupil personnel workers are people who are hired to assess student needs and to be student advocates. And that was my job. And I was always on time for work all my life. Again, hiding behind my career, going through, I don't want to say HE-double hockey stick. I'll say HE-double hockey stick in my own personal life. But I'd be in the car crying, taking extended, a lunch hour rather, right? And I met a wonderful supervisor. Her name is Dr. Elizabeth Faison. And if I did not come into contact with her, and she was in that same building out with us, and she would talk to me and she said, Erin, something is going on. What is going on in your life? And I divulged things to her. I had no choice. Sometimes in your workplace, in order to save face, and you don't want to be, what is the word, perceived in a negative way or labeled, we have all these things going on in our life. Sometimes it's better to be honest if you have a person you trust, not to make excuses, but because I divulged my personal life and things I had been going through at the time, because I wasn't looking for any sorry or pity. There was a comfort there. And that professional relationship taught me, and yours too, believe it or not, because we had such a wonderful friendship. You may not have even known what I was going through at the time, but it's so important to build rapport with people in the workplace, your work environment, or not to tell everyone your business, but you have to build relationships with people so they can give you grace. And when they give you grace and they give you understanding, you also get an exchange of resources, because there were resources to me at the time that I wouldn't have been able to get a handle on. I wouldn't have been able to get those resources if I wasn't courageous enough to admit what I was going through. And it was all kinds of stuff. So I think it's very important to have trusting relationships with a few or even one person, that supervisor, anyone that you can build with, so that you could have a fair exchange of resources. If you have those resources in your life, you can empower yourself And that's the only way to get from a stuck place, is to make a decision that I'm going to move. I'm not going to sit up and complain about this. Not one more week, not one more 6 months. I'm going to do something about it. And if I didn't have those relationships at that time, and I didn't have my supervisor there saying, Erin, you are a rock star. And here she was giving me all these accolades, and I didn't feel deserving, because when you're going through a divorce, you don't feel deserving. You feel like crap. Your family's falling apart. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I just personally feel that it's good to be open sometimes about, you can meet many friends when you share something. And when you share something about your life, you meet that new person, and it takes off I don't know, the stigma. We're walking around as if everything is all well. For most people, we're suffering from something. Everybody's suffering from something, So it's like, it's so important to have those relationships, personal and professional, but confidential. Confidentiality is the name of the game. And working as a PPW, I had to be confidential. We are talking about students, families, truancy, all types of stuff. So if you're professional and you have etiquette in your professional life, then it's going to carry over to your personal. And that's the way I like to be. And so I remember with you, it was such laughter. I may not have stopped to you and tell you everything that was going on in my life, but you helped me get through the most painful time of my life. And I'm ready. I was ready to write about it. I said, let me write so I won't go to jail or anything crazy. So anyway, I have always been law abiding. Let me put that out there. I'm law abiding, and no judgments to women who are not, because people make choices. Okay. All right.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh my goodness. And thinking back to those days, I did not even know, until we had conversations like way later. You
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
shared some things with me at that point. But yeah, definitely gotta underscore what you said about building those relationships. That's definitely something that everybody needs. You need that support network, both personally
Absolutely.
and professionally. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, indeed.
I can
Oh,
hear a little one in the back. I can hear
yeah,
her.
she wants to chime in on the interview as well.
That's
She
right. That's
oh,
right. Let her get in here. It's almost like my childcare. I'm getting prepared for the childcare doors to open tomorrow morning. I miss them. My families, I am so appreciative to them, because when life happens, they support me and they say, you know what? We already know you love our babies, and I love children. And if I didn't decide to be a teacher many years ago, when I was working as an English teacher, I was so focused on. When I was at SU. I'm reading, what is that? Louise Rosenblatt's reader response theory, and so I was trying to focus on getting the students to connect to the text. Making meaning out of the text and choosing texts that are meaningful, that can help empower them to change our lives, right? Which is why a lot of educators prefer books. We prefer books with positive endings of the characters, right? We don't need our especially African American children. We do not need people who have bad endings. We need positive outcomes, in the
yes.
books. So I was so focused on that reader's response theory. It's like making meaning and making connections with students. After a while, my students started saying, well, you helped me with my life. You helped me get through this. You helped me get. And then I went to go back. Well, you'll read about it. I had to leave stuff for people to read about in the memoir. I can't tell everything about it. Just read the book. It don't take you a little bit of time. So you'll see.
Totally.
But anyway,
Yeah, yeah, I'm really excited to read the book, and I'm just so super excited, super proud of you. Melody had a question for you. She said that she loves the cover. Are you a Lisa Frank fan?
hey, you know what? Not exactly, but I would be open to it. My publisher really is so talented and creative. So I have to give this all to my publisher. She told me, she said, Erin, the cover, it has a lot to do with your personality, and your wisdom. For your yeah. I'm not 50 yet. I mean, I'll be 40. Wait a minute, I just turned 49, so I'll be 50 next year. I can't even
Oh, well,
keep up.
happy
But
early birthday.
yeah, and my
And
daughter was
belated as
graduating on
well.
my birthday. Yeah, my daughter was graduating on my birthday, so I'm still celebrating. But yeah, I love the cover too, and thank you for that comment from the caller. I definitely, my publisher just had this vision, and she's so incredibly talented, and it surprised me so much that when I saw it, I was like, wow, and she said, this is you, because you have a lot of wisdom and you want to share it with people. And since owls represent wisdom, right? So I was like, oh yeah, okay, that's me. And then after a while, I said, well, wait a minute, I wrote a book. I can't believe I did this. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, I love it, and I can always look to it and say, I wrote it. I put it in writing. And sometimes, we don't take things seriously unless it's in writing, right? So
Oh, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, but that is awesome. I am just so thrilled and so proud of you, and really wanted to thank you so much for being here today. Did
oh,
you
thank
have
you.
Yeah, of course. Did you have
No,
any
thank
final thoughts you
you.
wanted to share with the viewers or listeners?
Well, no, well, the only thing that I would say is, pick up a copy of my book. And if you have anyone in your life, any woman in your life who is struggling through anything, any topic that I bring up in the book, pass it on. Pass it on to that person and say, hey, you know what? Here's someone who will make you laugh in the midst of the mess. Okay. Let's get ourselves out of this mess and let's not be stuck forever. We just can't be stuck. We just got to choose, get better and not bitter. And that's not anything I created. I mean, it comes from everybody. People say these cliche is cliche, you hear it all the time, but it's true though. Please pick up a copy. Yes, pick it up, pass it on, and I love talking. I miss being with students, even though I love my babies. But I miss being with students and I love talking. So a speaking engagement, it doesn't matter. You invite me, I will show up with bells on and a kindness cake. Read the book to find out what the kindness cakes are about.
Ooh, okay. I like
Kindness
that.
cakes.
That's suspense and intrigue. I
That's
am I
right.
am intrigued. Yes,
I had
absolutely.
to give that
Yeah.
one to my mama. My mama and her kindness cakes. But
Kindness cakes. I
anyway,
love that. Can't wait
yeah.
to
But
find
thank
out
you
more
so
about
much.
that. Yeah, thank you
Absolutely.
so much. Yeah, it was so great to chat with you. And I'm so
Same
glad that
here.
everybody in our community got to learn a little more about you and about this amazing book that you have coming out. So wanted to thank you and to thank everyone for tuning
You.
in.
Mhm.
Yes, indeed. And everybody, please like, subscribe, join our community, bring a friend, check us out at edumatch.org. You probably see the little scrolling banner at the bottom of the screen. So this Thursday, June 15th, is when our live self-publishing for educators class starts. So definitely check that out. That is at edumatch.thinkific.com. So it'll be available after that as well. But if you want to catch the first live session, then sign up. We're starting to get a full house. So, slots are still available, but everybody sign up. In addition to that, then, okay, Melody says she'll be there. Can't wait to have you in the house. And and she also said that this was her church today, this episode. So again, Erin, thank you for
Oh,
that.
I'm so
Yeah,
glad to hear that. Well,
yeah.
wow. Well, invite me somewhere. I'll come with bells on. We'll bring church every day. Should be everyday church every
Absolutely.
day.
I
Okay.
love that. I love
All
that.
right.
Absolutely. And everybody also come back on the 20th of June, where we're going to have our very next launch, which is Pragmatic Progressivism by Dr. Angela Dye. So we're going to have it airing live in this group, I believe 7 p.m. on the 20th. So can't wait to see everybody. And stay tuned, stay connected, and have a great one, y'all. All right, take it
Thank
easy.
you.
Thanks.
It's Edge Match. Edge Match. It's Edge Match.